Hey everyone, and welcome to this new video. In this video, I want to talk to you about Unifi, which is also somewhat connected to smart home via Wi-Fi. More after the intro. Enjoy. I would like to go a little more in the vlog direction during December and occasionally bring you a few small update videos. This means that if I manage it, there will probably be videos twice a week. This will naturally make the videos a little more relaxed. To start off, I want to talk about Unifi, as I have been struggling with this topic for ages and have been considering whether to get some Unifi equipment, especially for those who are not familiar with the world of networking. In my opinion, Unifi has one of the coolest products for networks, as they offer a lot of configuration options, making them well suited for both small and larger business customers. The only problem with the situation is the price. These things are actually not that cheap. Sure, you can get a single access point, but to actually get started with the stuff, you first need a dream machine, which is a combination of a controller that manages the entire network, a router, a switch, and a recording device for cameras. Most private users, like in my case, do not need all of this. I have already received a router from my internet provider, which is completely sufficient for internal routing. A Fritz box can be used very well. I actually don't have any network cameras here, and if I did, I wouldn't necessarily want to record them using the Unifi software. That means I don't need this feature either. I already have a switch here, so I don't need that either. And the Unifi controller, which is actually the main feature of it all, I do need. Of course, I could buy one now, but that would naturally increase the price, at least the entry price, and that has always been my thought process when I considered whether to spend the money now or not. The cool thing is, there is an add-on for Home Assistant that allows you to install the Unifi controller on Home Assistant. This means you no longer need a dream machine and can essentially get started directly with such an access point. If you have a larger apartment, you have the option of either getting another Fritzbox repeater or any other repeater, or acquiring two of these APs, connecting them together and managing them through the controller or via Home Assistant. To remotely control everything with the controller installed on Home Assistant, and that's exactly what I decided to do. And I hope that I will do well with this solution. So what I need to do first is install this access point up on the ceiling, and then we'll see how it all looks. So, now that I have installed one of the two access points here, I think it's time to talk about how to actually set everything up for those of you who want to replicate this. To do this, we go into Home Assistant as always, and can then install the Unifi network application under the add-ons. Be warned, this will only work if you have a valid Home Assistant installation. If it is invalid, the whole thing will not work. A little tip: make a backup of your entire Home Assistant instance. Reinstall everything so that it is valid with the Home Assistant image, preferably if you are using a Raspberry Pi, and then simply restore the backup. After that, it should work. Now we need to make a few configurations. For the configuration tab, we won't do anything for now, but we need to go into the user interface and logically log in with the Unifi account. Then, under Settings, System, and here at the bottom, Application Configuration, we need to enter the IP address of your Home Assistant instance so that other devices can connect to it. So, that's basically it. Now we can integrate everything. Click on the Unifi devices and your device should appear here. As you can see, I have already integrated mine. What you need to do is press it once, and then you will get a button here that allows you to integrate everything into your network. This should take a little moment, and that's it. You've integrated the whole thing so easily. So, I would say it's time. The hotspot is installed, and the software side is actually set up as well. This means we should test the whole thing out. The coolest and most practical thing is that a new line has just been installed. This means we can try it out directly using the speedtest.net app and see how fast the speed really is over the hotspot. This probably won't be fully utilized here because the internet connection is still slower, but if I can get my connection via Wi-Fi, that would be pretty cool. And as you can see, 500 Mbit looks pretty cool too. So here, my internet connection is definitely what is holding everything back. Of course, one could also do a local speed test and try it out. I would say that I'm extremely satisfied with my regular devices at around 500 Mbit. Even if I want to work locally on the server via Wi-Fi here, that is completely sufficient. And since I already have two routers installed here, namely this one and this one, I actually have wonderful Wi-Fi everywhere and could theoretically install many more. Since I made a video back then where I set everything up with LAN and with the help of the Unifi software, It's super easy to configure, basically just a push of a button and I have a new access point installed right away. Those of you who have problems yourself. If you have a Wi-Fi setup from 2001 and have now thought, hey, that would be a really cool idea to do it like that too, I will definitely put all the links in the description. As mentioned, it is actually worth it. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, you already have an existing network and you are dissatisfied with it, provided that your router is reasonably decent. You already have network cables lying around. Personally, I am just a fan of doing everything with network cables. Therefore, I would actually recommend this to each of you to go for a solution other than a mesh Wi-Fi in 2021. And yes, that's it for this little mini video for the weekend. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even found it a bit helpful. If so, I would naturally appreciate a rating. And then I would say, see you again next week. This time on Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Until then, take care and ciao.